أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل الله أعبد مخلصا له ديني فاعبدوا ما شئتم من دونه قل إن الخاسرين الذين خسروا أنفسهم وأهليهم يوم القيامة ألا ذلك هو الخسران المبين لهم من فوقهم ظلل من النار ومن تحتهم ظلل ذلك يخوف الله به عباده يا عباد فاتقون والذين اجتنبوا الطاغوت أن يعبدوها وأنابوا إلى الله لهم البشرى فبشر عباد صدق الله العظيم. These are ayats from Surah Az-Zomar, the ayah number 16 and 17. At previous lecture, we just completed the ayah number 15, and in that ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla was threatening some people who do not want to worship Allah alone and want to associate some peoples or some things with Allah in worshipping. And for them, Allah Azza wa Jalla said to His Prophet at first hand and then to all His believers to say, قُلِ اللَّهَ أَعْبُدُ, say, I worship only Allah, مُخْلِصًا لَهُ دِينِي, and I worship Allah seeking only His pleasant, only for His sake, مُخْلِصًا لَهُ دِينِي. I am making my religion purely only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Say to them like this, and also say to them, فَاعْبُدُوا مَا شِئْتُم مِّن دُونِهِ. If that is the case, فَاعْبُدُوا, if you do not want to worship Allah alone, so you may worship whatever you want. فَاعْبُدُوا مَا شِئْتُم, worship whatever you want. فَاعْبُدُوا مَا شِئْتُم مِّن دُونِهِ, except other than Allah. فَاعْبُدُوا مَا شِئْتُم مِّن دُونِهِ. And we said at the previous lecture that this is a big threat. This is a big threat to them, because after this threat, Allah Azza wa Jalla informed them that at the end, at the ultimate end, you will receive the biggest loss. قُلْ إِنَّ الْخَاسِرِينَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. Say to them this information also, and this is the fourth say in these ayats, or we can count them from the ayah number 10, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is the fifth one. Allah Azza wa Jalla commanding His messenger to announce to them, قُلْ إِنَّ الْخَاسِرِينَ, give them this information that the losers, الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ, who will lose themselves and their families, يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, in that day, the day of resurrection. This loss is the biggest loss, and no matter what you earn in this life, no matter what you gained in this life, if you lose in that day, it means that you lost everything. This is the manifest loss. قُلْ إِنَّ الْخَاسِرِينَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَهْلِيهِمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. If you are there to lose in that day, if that's the case, you can worship whatever you want. if you dare to confront that biggest loss in that day, so you know, you have the will that Allah has given to you. You have that will, and we say this amana. You have that will, and you can behave as you want, but you should know that you will be responsible for that preference, for that action in the day of resurrection. And Allah Azza wa Jalla completing the ayah, أَلَا ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. This loss is not something small, and it's not something limited. It's everlastingly in that day, and this is al-khusran al-mubin. It is very clear loss, and you will receive that loss very clearly, not in somehow mistakenly, in a mistake way. You are going in this way, Allah Azza wa Jalla warning you, and everything is clear in this life. Allah Azza wa Jalla guaranteed that He will make everything clear in this life for every people. سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ. We will show them our ayat, our signs, either in themselves, في أنفسهم, and وفي الآفاق, and in the environment that's surrounding them. We will show them our ayat until that the truth will be clear according them. حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق من ربهم. Until they understand plainly that this is the truth from Allah Azza wa Jal. So if you lose, in spite of this reality, if you lose while you are seeing, if you go this wrong way, although you know that it is wrong, it means that this is al-khusran al-mubin. This is very clear loss. It didn't come up to you in a mistake, as a consequence of mistake. No, it's your choice. It's your choice. So it's very clear loss. ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. And I believe that in that day, I understand from the Quran, all the people who will receive the same result in that day, this result I mean, they are, all of them, received that result knowingly, intentionally, deliberately, because Allah Azza wa Jalla warned them in this life and showed to them their ayats, but they didn't want to believe in Him, and they didn't want to submit to Him. So they did receive this consequence, but we should know that they did deserve this consequence. ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. And we know that in the Quran, in many ayat, that Allah Azza wa Jalla quoting their word, and in that words they say, we were wrong, we are guilty, and we deserved this result. لقد حقت كلمة العذاب على الكافرين كلما دخلت أمة سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير. The angels in hellfire will ask them, did not Allah send to you any warner? They said, بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا. They will say, nay, Allah Azza wa Jalla sent to us many warners, but we denied them, we belied them. كذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء. And in that ayat, Allah Azza wa Jalla say, حقت كلمة العذاب على الكافرين. The punishment justified for those who denied the truth. They deserved it. So, ذلك هو الخسران المبين. Because of this matter, this is very clear loss. ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. They ended up this result knowingly, not wrongly. لَهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ. And this is very bad situation. Allah Azza wa Jalla describe us this result. What is the loss? They lose whatever they have, but now they are in the hellfire. لَهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ. They have coverings of fire, مِنَ النَّارِ, above them. لَهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ. They do not have sky above them. They do not have blue sky above them. They have layers of fire above them. When they look above them, they see the coverings of fire. لَهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ. Allah Azza wa Jalla covered them. عَلَيْهِمْ نَارٌ مُؤْصَدَةٌ. Covered them with the fire, with fires, with layers of fire. لَهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ وَمِن تَحْتِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ. And coverings of fire beneath them, from underneath their feet. Also there is fire. So Allah Azza wa Jalla put them between the fires. يَوْمَ يَغْشَاهُمُ الْعَذَابُ مِنْ فَوْقِهِمْ. At that day, the punishment, the adhab, will cover them. مِنْ فَوْقِهِمْ, from above them, وَمِنْ تَحْتِ أَرْجُلِهِمْ, and from underneath their feet. وَيَقُولُ ذُوقُوا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah Azza wa Jalla will say to them, or the angels will say to them, taste whatever you used to do. You used to do many bad things. You did them deliberately, and you are today receiving your punishment. ذُوقُوا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Taste whatever you used to do. So the adhab comes from above them and comes from the bottom, from underneath them. لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ لَهُمْ مِنْ فَوْقِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ مِنَ النَّارِ. Layers of the fire from above them, وَمِنْ تَحْتِهِمْ, and from beneath them. ذَلِكَ يُخَوِّفُ اللَّهُ بِهِ عِبَادَهُ. So we understood from the ayah that the hellfire is not something only from the bottom, only from beneath. No, Allah Azza wa Jalla put them inside the fire. So the fire from everywhere, from above them and from underneath them. They are between the fire. لَهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ وَمِنَ النَّارِ وَمِن تَحْتِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ. ذَلِكَ يُخَوِّفُ اللَّهُ بِهِ عِبَادَهُ. This is thus Allah frightens His servants. Thus Allah is frightening His servants. Allah Azza wa Jalla frighten us. Allah Azza wa Jalla wants us to be afraid of this punishment. So Allah Azza wa Jalla informs us about that punishment, which will undoubtedly come to pass on that day. But Allah Azza wa Jalla inform us and warn us about it, in order that we can keep our duty, and in order that we may consider about our life and the purpose of our life, and to consider about death and why Allah Azza wa Jalla creating, and why Allah Azza wa Jalla making them die after a while. Why is this circulation in this life? To make us contemplate about the matter, ذَلِكَ يُخَوِّفُ اللَّهُ بِهِ عِبَادَهُ. Allah Azza wa Jalla uses many tools, many means to make His servants contemplate and to make them reflect about the issue. Somewhere Allah Azza wa Jalla give them or tell them about His reward in that life, and wants to make them consider about the life in order to receive that reward. This is the positive side. But Allah Azza wa Jalla does not stop there at that point. Allah Azza wa Jalla use many means, and this is one of His means. He frightens His servants to keep their duty and to contemplate about their life. So we can understand from these ayats and from these means that Allah Azza wa Jalla used in Quran toward us, we may need sometime one of these means and sometime another mean. Our situation is not, our situation is changeable. Sometimes we need to be afraid of the adhab in order to aware about ourselves, in order to awake from the sin. We need some frightens, and sometimes we need the good news about the reward. So we should use these means toward ourselves in order to be good man, in order to be righteous man. When we see Allah Azza wa Jalla using them, we understood that we can benefit from them. So we should not neglect any of them. Maybe some people can say, I do not need any frighten from Allah Azza wa Jalla. The reward of Allah Azza wa Jalla is enough to me in order to be righteous, in order to be good man in this life, or in order to understand the essence of the life. The reward of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the love of Allah Azza wa Jalla is enough to me. May some people allege this, but I do not believe that it will be enough to them. Sometime they cannot control themselves. They would not control their selves and would need these frightens of Allah Azza wa Jalla, these fear of Allah Azza wa Jalla. We should not neglect the fear. Sometimes we can notice, we can observe ourselves that the reward Allah Azza wa Jalla is not enough to take us to the reality or to take us to the truth. At that point, you frighten yourselves with the punishment of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And remember these ayats of Allah Azza wa Jalla. I think that it will work with you. It does work with me, and I believe that it will work with anyone, because this is something that Allah Azza wa Jalla used. Allah Azza wa Jalla does not use something in vain. And sometime we need of that. We need this fear of Allah Azza wa Jalla and fear of the punishment of Allah Azza wa Jalla. ذَلِكَ يُخَوِّفُ اللَّهُ بِهِ عِبَادَهُ. Allah Azza wa Jalla telling us plainly, Allah is frightening His servants. Thus Allah Azza wa Jalla frightens His servants. How did He frighten us in this ayah? By the situation in the hellfire, by the situation of the people in the hellfire. For them are coverings of fire above them, and for them are coverings of fire beneath them. وَمِن تَحْتِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ. Thus Allah Azza wa Jalla, may He be glorified and exalted, informs us about that situation. ذَلِكَ يُخَوِّفُ اللَّهُ بِهِ عِبَادَهُ. And through this information, Allah Azza wa Jalla frighten us. Ya ibadi fattaqun. And at the end of the ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla say to his servants, Ya ibadi. But this is very Ya ibadi. Allah Azza wa Jalla telling to his servants, O my servants. We feel from the ayah that Allah Azza wa Jalla wants us to feel that how we are close to Him. We are His servants. We are His servants. And Allah Azza wa Jalla in this ayah does not say, oh the servants. But He say, oh my servants, Ya ibadi. So you can feel that Allah Azza wa Jalla wants the good for us, and because of His mercy, because of His grace, He warns us about the bad end of this life, and He uses every means to show us the truth, but does not oblige us, because this is a very just test in this life. Allah Azza wa Jalla does not oblige any single man, but He shows to him every way. He used for him every mean to show him the truth and to warn him, so that they cannot have any excuse about himself. Allah Azza wa Jalla will not remain any excuse about anyone in this life when He took him to about the other life. He will exalt every mean in this way, and the people will use all of them, either in the good way or in the bad way. But in the other life, the people will be used every mean, and so that they would not have any excuse about their sins or about their crimes. Ya ibadi, O my servants. Allah Azza wa Jalla say to His servants, Ya ibadi, O my servants, fattaquni, protect yourselves of me, protect yourselves from me. Ya ibadi fattaquni, fear me, be careful about me. I can punish you. When you live in this life, be careful about my orders. Include me in your equation. Do not deny me. I am the first important thing in your life. I am your owner. You cannot live without contemplating about your life, without considering about your Creator. You cannot live as if you created yourselves, as if you have no owner. You cannot live like that. But you know that you have an owner. You are the one who is created by someone else. You did not create yourselves. So you should contemplate about these issues. You should find your way. You should find your Creator. You should talk with Him. Talk to your Creator. He will show His guidance to you. He will guide you. You can feel that. You can be sure that Allah Azza wa Jalla will guide you. الَّذِي خَلَقَنِي فَهُوَ يَهْدِينَ, says Ibrahim alayhi salam. He created me, so He will guide me. Why He created me if He will not guide me? Why He brings me the food and does not forget it? How can He forget to guide me? You should know that the one who created you is very careful about you. He observes you. He monitors you every single moment. You can feel this reality in yourselves. You can understand it. And if you begin to consider, if you put your step in this way, if you put some effort in this way, if you sacrifice some of your time, Allah Azza wa Jalla will show Himself to you, will guide you to the truth. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. So we are inside of the life right now. So these ayats is very important for us. The Creator says to us, "O my creatures, O my servants, Ya ibadi, fattaquni, protect yourselves from me. I am very important. You should observe your duty toward me, and you should live in accordance with my commands. You cannot neglect me. Fattaquni." Because if you do not put importance to my words, to my commands, and live as if you do not have any honor, I can punish you. And my punishment is not something limited. I can punish you everlastingly. So it means that you should not have any fear other than fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because there is no one can harm you everlastingly. No one can harm you anything if Allah Azza wa Jalla does not permit to him to do that. So I am the first and the last thing in your life. I am the purpose of your life. Ya ibadi fattaquni. So protect yourselves from me. Be careful, be cautious about your life. Ya ibadi fattaquni. And this verse comes after Allah Azza wa Jalla talked about the hellfire, the Jahannam, the fire of Jahannam, the hellfire. It's very, very big and bad punishment. No chastisement can be like the hellfire, chastisement of hellfire. And the end of the ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla warning us. He is not the one who wants to put there, but we are the ones who wants to go there. Although Allah Azza wa Jalla warned us with His messengers, by His messengers. Ya ibadi fattaqun, O my servants, protect yourselves of me. This is the concept of taqwa. The concept of taqwa in this ayah, the ayah number 16, it comes after the same concept which we read it in the ayah number 8. قُلْ يَا عِبَادِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ. In that ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, O my servants who believed, اتقوا ربكم, protect yourselves from your Lord. In that ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla enjoined us to protect ourselves from Him. And this is the second one here in the ayah number 16. Allah Azza wa Jalla emphasizing over and over about the taqwa. Ya ibadi fattaqun, O my servants, protect yourselves from me. This is not a game in this life. This life is not a game. Allah Azza wa Jalla taking seriously this life. Very, very serious thing in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So He will punish seriously in that day. And we should be serious about our life. We are not playing a game here. We should protect ourselves from the owner of this life. Ya ibadi fattaqun. Now I am moving on the ayah number 17. وَالَّذِينَ اجْتَنَبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ and those who avoided from the taghut, at-taghut. What does it mean, at-taghut? At-taghut, this is not a reality. This is something false, but the people produce it in order to associate them with Allah Azza wa Jalla in their religion. At-taghut, this is something that the people deal with them like they deal with Allah Azza wa Jalla. At-taghut. And sometimes the people prefer them to Allah Azza wa Jalla than the Allah Azza wa Jalla. They go and worship them because at-taghut, for example, the idols, or for example the peoples who allege that they are gods, or many things else can be at-taghut for any person. The criteria which can we understand the taghut, if something or someone, if you deal with something or with someone and you prefer him or it than Allah Azza wa Jalla. If Allah Azza wa Jalla commands you something but you do something else, why? Because that person or that thing enjoin you to do that. If you are between Allah Azza wa Jalla and between something else, that the something else named at-taghut. And this, in reality, there is no taghut. No one have the ability to be a Lord, to be a God. But he may allege that he is a God, but this is something false. So there is no real taghut. At-taghut is something the people gives them this status and deals with them like they deal with Allah Azza wa Jal. وَالَّذِينَ اجْتَنَبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. In this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla describes to us the good people, the righteous people, who they avoided from at-taghut by not worshipping them. أَنْ يَعْبُدُوهَا. They did not worship at-taghut. And it does not mean only a ritual that you go and put your prostrate yourselves before him. If you do his command while you abandon the command of Allah Azza wa Jalla, this is also a worship. This is the worship. If you prefer his commandment to command of Allah Azza wa Jalla, to command of Allah Azza wa Jalla, then this is a worship. This is exactly worship. And if it's the case, it means that you worship that person in that issue, in that situation. But the people whom Allah Azza wa Jalla talked about, those who do not worship them, اجتنبوا الطاغوت, they refrain from worshipping at-taghut. They avoid from worshipping at-taghut. وَالَّذِينَ اجْتَنَبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ أَنْ يَعْبُدُوهَا وَأَنَابُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. And they turned themselves to the only one Creator. Allah Azza wa Jalla is waiting His servants. Allah Azza wa Jalla waits them to forgive them. Allah Azza wa Jalla waits them to give them their reward in that life and to give them a good life in this worldly life. فَلَنُحْيَنَّهُمْ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. Allah Azza wa Jalla wants to give them a good life in this life, and a good life and a good reward in the life to come. He waits them, but how? Allah Azza wa Jalla wants from His servants to come without remaining anything. You should submit yourselves and abandon or avoid any kind of taghut. You should pure your religion from all of them. You should know that you right now, you now only one aim, one objective, and He is the one, your Lord, who created you. You should be able to abandon all of the others, all of the else. You should abandon them. This is the inaba. وَأَنَابُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ, turning yourselves completely to the Creator and forgetting about anything else. وَأَنَابُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. If you turn yourselves to Allah Azza wa Jalla, while you are resorting to some others or some other gods, this is not inaba. You are taking advantage of the only one God sometime, and you take advantage of something else another time. This is shirk. This is the way of shirk. This is the mind of shirk. They think that they take advantage of anything. If you say that this may benefit you, go and worship it, he may go and worship it for a while. And if you say to him, if you warn him how you can worship, he will not benefit you. He will answer you, maybe he will benefit me. This is the consideration of the shirk. They are following the conjecture. They do not want to follow the truth, the reality, the absolute truth. They do not want to follow them. They want to follow anything before them. They want to be free in their religion. They want to take advantage any kind of thing in their life. So they are not observing their duty toward Allah Azza wa Jal, but they are observing their benefits in their life. They want to save their benefits in their life, and in order to save their benefits, they want to take advantage of the gods. This is something else, and the religion of Allah is something else. In the religion of Allah, you are putting whatever you have in the sake of Allah. You are saying that you are able and you are ready. You prepare yourself to sacrifice whatever you have in the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, or for the way of Allah Azza wa Jal, and keeping in your mind that whatever you spend here, whatever you sacrifice here for Allah Azza wa Jal, you will have a reward from Allah Azza wa Jal in the life to come. And this life is for the life to come. This is not our aim. This is only our tool or our means in order to reach the real life in that day. This is Islam. This is submission. This is the way of submitters in the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal. But al-mushrikun, they want to take advantage of the life and take advantage of the gods and take advantage of anything. And their objective is only their lives, their desires in this life. So we should be aware about the criteria between the righteous people and between the bad people. وَالَّذِينَ اجْتَنَبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ, the righteous people, the believers, they avoid from at-taghut, even if there is some beneficial things for them. Allah Azza wa Jalla puts some beneficial things in at-taghut in order to test them. For example, you may be in a society, and in that society may the people worships at-taghut, and they may say to you, if you worship at-taghut, we can give you a status, we can give you money, we can give you whatever you want. But the righteous people abandon them in order to believe the only one creator. In order to be on the truth side, they sacrifice their benefit in order to follow the truth. This is the test. You can understand how Allah Azza wa Jalla tests His servants in this life. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا واخطأنا، ربنا ولا تحمل علينا أسرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا، ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.